Good evening. The regular council meeting for the City of Copperas Cove held November 4th, 2025 is called to order at 6 p.m. Please rise for the invocation by Ms. Hart, seconded by the Pledge of Allegiance.
If you will, please bow with me in prayer. Dear Heavenly Father, we just thank you for opening up our eyes this morning and seeing a new day. Be with us today, Father, as we make decisions that are important to our citizens and our residents here in Copperas Cove. Continue to be able to provide protection and the covering over our police, fire, and also to all of our first responders. Continue to provide peace in our city, nation, and our world. In Jesus' name we pray, amen.
Amen. Pledge to our nation's flag. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. And to the state flag. Honor the Texas flag. I pledge allegiance to thee, Texas, one state under God, one indivisible. Please be seated. Madam Secretary, please call the roll.
Mayor Yancey.
Here.
Christina Strophus.
Here.
Rita Hogan.
Here.
Sean Alzona.
Here.
John Hale.
Here.
Dale Treadway.
Here.
Vanya Hart.
Here.
Jack Smith.
Here.
All right. We have a full house. We move to item D, announcements.
None for me, Mr. Mayor.
Okay,
And at this time, thank you.
Nothing, Mr. Mayor.
Ryan?
Yes, sir. Saturday, November 15th, beginning at 8 a.m. at the Solid Waste Transfer Station is a citywide cleanup for certain hazardous materials and a shred event as well.
Yeah, is that it?
That's it.
All right.
I have nothing, thank you, sir.
Nothing, Mr. Mayor.
Yes, I
Yes.
do. From our Friends of Central Texas State Veterans Cemetery, the wreath preparation is on Saturday, November 22nd at 10 a.m. And the wreath laying ceremony will be on Saturday, November 29th at 10 a.m. For more information, go to www.wreathsforvets.org. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yes, Mr. Mayor. I'd like to remind everyone that this Saturday, November 8th, starting at 10 a.m., will be the VFW Post 8577's annual Veterans Day Parade. And it's taken the normal parade route from the VFW up Veterans around to First Street and then up Avenue D all the way to Cove Terrace Shopping Center. So everyone come out and honor the veterans this Saturday.
All right. Thank you, Jack. All right, we move to item E, Citizens Forum.
At this time, citizens will be allowed to speak for a length of time not to exceed 5 minutes per person on any item which is listed on the agenda and items not listed on the agenda. 30 minutes total has been allotted for this section. Pursuant to Section 551.042 of the Texas Open Meetings Act, any deliberation or decision about the subject of inquiry which is not listed on the agenda shall be limited to a proposal to place the subject on the agenda for a subsequent meeting.
All right, is there anyone to speak during Citizens Forum? Anyone to speak during Citizens Forum? All right, we will close that and move to item F, consent agenda.
All matters listed under this item are considered to be routine by the City Council and will be enacted by one motion. There will not be separate discussion of these items. If discussion is desired, that item will be removed from the consent agenda and considered separately. Item 1, consideration and action on approval of City Council workshop meeting minutes for October 21st, 2025. Ashley Osborne, Deputy City Secretary. Item 2, consideration and action on approval of City Council regular meeting minutes for October 21st, 2025. Ashley Osborne, Deputy City Secretary. Item 3, consideration and action on approval of an agreement between the City of Copperas Cove and the Heart of Texas Defense Alliance. Ryan Havilah, City Manager. Item 4, consideration and action on resolution number 2025-27, authorizing and supporting the Chief of Police in the submission of a grant application and other related mandatory documents to the Office of the Governor, Public Safety Office for the FY 2026 Bullet Resistant Components for Law Enforcement Vehicles Grant Program. Gabrielle Cardona, Police Captain. Item 5, consideration and action on resolution number 2025-28, authorizing the chief of police to apply for, accept, reject, alter, or terminate a grant from the U.S. Department of Justice for the FY 2025 Patrick Leahy Bulletproof Vest Partnership Program, Gabriel Cardona, Police Captain. Item 6, consideration and action authorizing the issuance of the annual water meter supply purchase order to Core and Main LP, Scott Osborne, Assistant City Manager, Director of Public Works. And item 7, consideration and action authorizing the city manager to execute a professional services agreement with Friesen Nichols, Inc. for the design and construction phase services for the Northeast Wastewater Treatment Plant Aeration and Basin Improvement Project. Chris Altott, Assistant Director of Public Works.
All right, council, there are 7 items. Is there any item you wish to pull and consider separately?
Mr. Mayor,
Yes.
make a recommendation to approve consent items F1 through F7.
Second.
Okay, motion made by Mr. Treadway, seconded by Mr. Hale. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion's carried. There are no public hearings for tonight. We move to item H, action items.
Item 1, presentation by the Coppers Cove Chamber of Commerce detailing quarterly activities and expenditures related to the Visitors Bureau and consideration of action on approval of payments for qualifying expenses related to the fourth quarter of fiscal year 2024-25. Beth Gaelic Carney, President of the Coppers Cove Chamber of Commerce.
Thank you, Lisa. Good evening, Mr. Mayor, City Council, Mr. Haverlaw. Thank you for having me this evening. I am here to request reimbursement for quarter 4 of fiscal year 2024-25 for operations of the Visitors Bureau. I'll give you a little rundown of what we've accomplished. This last quarter, our TourTexas.com website generated 106 new travel leads, which we reach out to those people personally. CoppersCove.com saw nearly 13,000 visits, which are pretty strong numbers for a non-event season. We've created new communities within the app with the EDC, Police Department, and Parks and Rec for their events throughout the year. And next year, we plan to work with the Historical Society for the Heritage Festival as well. We are also adding a Small Business Saturday component for the 29th of November to highlight our local businesses in town that want to participate. We have distributed guides and maps to TxDOT rest stops throughout Texas and 19 other visitors bureaus statewide. We're currently working on the 2026 Visitors Guide, and the new Coppers Cove maps should be available in January. Obviously, you guys attended our downtown celebration in July, so thank you for that. We've seen a much increased foot traffic for new visitors and new citizens, and this week our sign was finally installed. So if you get a chance to drive by and check it out, please do. We are working now to partner with local hotels to get year-long discount codes so that we can try to attract not just visitors, but people that stay in hotels for work, like subcontract work or classes held on Fort Hood. We're also working on changing the website to have a tab that says places to stay and things to do in the surrounding area for Coppers Cove, so we can market basically that our hotels are less expensive to stay at, but they're still within driving distance to area attractions. We've also placed some advertising in the Killeen Newcomers Guide. We're preparing for Chris Kindle. Obviously partnering with the EDC for Small Business Saturday. And we're also going to create a holiday shopping community on the app to highlight any chamber members that want to put some type of deal or special in that app to promote business through the holiday shopping season. I think that's about it. Any questions for me?
Council, any questions for Beth? Staying busy. That's good.
Yes. So I guess then I am going to request reimbursement of $26,638.96 for Visitors Bureau operations for the fourth quarter of fiscal year 24-25.
All right, thank you. Council, action to be taken on this?
Mr. Mayor,
Yes.
I move that we determine the appropriate eligible payment amount not to exceed $26,638.96 and authorize payment to the Chamber of Commerce.
Second.
Motion made by Sean, seconded by Rita. Is that right? Okay. Any other discussion?
Mr. Mayor,
Yes.
what is going to be amount? Because the motion was to determine the appropriate eligible payment amount, not to exceed. So is it going to be determined it's 26,000?
I think that's what the.
That's what the request
That's what
is,
the
yes.
request was, and that's what the motion was, not to exceed.
I'm doing the word thing again, because, okay.
Did you,
Well, it says to determine the appropriate eligible payment amount. So that's just saying determine it, so it doesn't exceed that amount. We're just not naming it. The actual amount of 26,000.
Can I call
Yep.
it back and reword it? Or rescind?
I'd appreciate it. Thank you, Sean.
Okay.
Mr. Mayor,
yes,
I move that we appropriate $26,638.96 and authorize payment to the Chamber of Commerce.
I'll second.
all right. Any other discussion? We get that wording right. All right, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries.
Thank you.
Thank you, Beth. That concludes the action items for tonight. We move to item I, reports from staff, outside entities, advisory committees, and boards.
Item 1, City Manager's Report. Ryan Haverloss, City Manager.
Thank you, Mrs. Wilson. Mayor and council, it's been about a month and a half since I've given a report, so just as a reminder, I'll be going through these pretty quickly. If you have any questions or concerns, want to talk about any of these, just interrupt me, and we'll stop and have that conversation. So on capital projects, start with emergency generators. That project is not closed out yet, but we are much closer. We did have to coordinate with Encore on replacement of some equipment that did cause us some water supply problems because that's where the generators were being installed, and we had some issues with pumps. Animal control facility is continuing. We are getting closer and closer, but we are not done with that project yet. It is likely an end of the year completion of that project. Senior Center facility is also moving forward. Still hopeful that by the end of November, we'll have that project complete and wrapped up. City park improvements are just about completely done. We have done the irrigation work out there, and so there's just some minor landscaping work that needs to be done. Municipal court renovation, we have some supply stream issues with some of the equipment and some of the supplies, particularly flooring, the windows for the lobby area, and then we're waiting on furniture also. We're still hopeful that by the end of November, we'll be substantially complete. But we're just kind of waiting for vendors to provide the products that we have already ordered. Fire station number 3 expansion is going very well, and that project is likely to be completed sometime at the end of November or early December. City events and activities, departmental operations. We've got a lot of things occurring and going on in all of our departments, but a few that are coming up. Our police department has the Christmas in Cove activity, and so that is very much right on our doorstep. And so as the police department starts advertising those things, coordinating with vendors and businesses around town, just be aware that our police department is beginning to coordinate that type of activity. There have been a number of crack sealing and other street improvements that have been done with the lack of rain that we've had. Drainage department has been able to accomplish quite a bit as well. And Parks and Recreation is in full steam on a lot of their recreational programs. One of the items with Department of Operations is I attended the Association of Defense Communities Installation Innovation Forum this past week. And there were a couple of things that really came out of those discussions with different entities. I was able to coordinate and establish a relationship with the city of Aurora, Colorado, who has implemented an agreement with the installation next to their city related to drones. And drones and military installations is becoming a greater concern as time goes on. And internationally, the war between Russia and Ukraine has publicized the use of drones very heavily. And what I have learned is that the incursion of drones over U.S. land, especially military bases, is increasing at a very rapid pace. And so local governments right next to military installations need to have a very clear understanding and relationship with the military installations as to what the military is going to do and what the local governments are going to do. The reason why is because drones may be over the military airspace, but usually the operator is in a local jurisdiction. And so there's got to be some coordination on how to address those things. Another one that has come up is discussion of energy use, independent energy use, and then, of course, data centers are greatly impacting military installations because they're taking up more and more energy, whereas military installations usually get a lot of their energy off post, bringing it on to post. And so it's a competing interest. And so there's a very unique idea of military installations and local governments and private industries, basically a P3, public-private partnership, working with organizations to create new energy sources. Some of those include reestablishing decommissioned power plants or creating entirely new energy supplies through modular nuclear generation. And so that is something that is really kind of on the forefront and something that we're trying to work on, make sure that we're aware of that and can help establish some of those connections and relationships if that is an opportunity in our region. I also attended the Texas Municipal League Annual Conference. Through that conference, there was also a subcommittee of the Texas Mayors of Military Communities board meeting. TMMC was vital in establishing the DAG grant, that's the Defense Economic Adjustment Assistance Grant, and we are a sponsor of a $5 million grant that we received to work with Fort Hood on energy resiliency. And so we are working through that process right now with the vendor that Fort Hood has selected and trying to get that project moving forward to where they will accomplish that project. It is a $10 million project where Fort Hood is putting $5 million in. The grant is $5 million and the city is simply the sponsor. So we're kind of the pass-through on that. Well, TMMC has not been well attended by its membership, which includes some of our region and other cities next to other military installations. And so the longevity of TMMC is really a question mark on whether it will continue or not. And so I am actually working to coordinate a meeting with Colleen Harker Heights and the chair for TMMC, which is General Ayala out of San Antonio, retired General Ayala, to see if Colleen and Copperas Cove and Harker Heights will continue membership in that coordination, because we could leverage that membership in response to 100% disabled veterans assistance and the state's response on reimbursing the city. And then there's an encroachment issue statewide that is beginning to occur more heavily with military installations as well. Colleen and Harker Heights are really experiencing that, but we will begin experiencing that with development as well. So those are a couple of the immediate responses I wanted to share with those organizations. Next is emergency notifications and preparations. I have reported to you before that Code Red, now OnSolve, has had some issues in the past. And multiple notifications have gone out to our residents that have been signed up for that. What we have learned is now, not only that is that an issue, but now there's a state funding and federal grant issue for paying for that, because that comes through CITCOG, Central Texas Council of Governments. Well, CITCOG has been notified that paying for the service with Code Red or OnSolve now may not be an eligible continued expense. So I'm really following that very closely, and I will keep council informed on how much longer we may have Code Red or OnSolve and what alternatives we need to move forward with in the future for notifications to our residents on emergency situations. Central Texas Water Authority, I know that there was a board meeting that occurred, and there was a decision that a payment needed to be made with a application for membership to CTWA. I understand that that may be changing, and so as I get more solid information on what that payment needs to be, I will share that with the council as official action occurs with that body. The Belcourt Regional Habitat Conservation Plan is no longer moving forward. That plan has been officially paused. And what I mean by that is the contract for the grant is with Bell County and U.S. Fish and Wildlife. As we have been working with the consultant to finalize the third phase of the development of that RHCP, it was very clear to the steering committee and the coordinating committee, which I'm a member on, that the consultant was not doing what we asked. They were not complying with our desires and our directives on the preparation of the RHCP. So Bell County communicated with their attorney and communicated with U.S. Fish and Wildlife, and U.S. Fish and Wildlife is satisfied with the progress that we have made and is agreeable to officially pausing the development of the RHCP until some point in the future. What is that point in the future? That could be 6 months from now. That could be 12 months from now. And at that point, we would need to apply for a new grant so that we could continue the development of that RHCP. So I have told you in the past that I expected in August, September time period that I would be presenting you with the completion of phase 3 so that you would know and decide whether we would continue in the development of the RHCP, which would come with a additional financial commitment. We are not at that point. We will not be getting to that point until likely more than 6 months, more than likely more than 12 months from this point when we resume the development of that RHCP. So I will no longer be reporting on that and until we reconvene the coordinating committee and look at applying for a future grant to continue the development of that regional plan. Parkland dedication ordinance. We will be having a report and a request for council direction in the future on that. I am not happy to report that we have not complied with council's directions. You directed the Subdivision Technical Advisory Committee and the Quality of Life Committee to meet together, come up with a unified recommendation of what the Parkland dedication ordinance would look like and would be in terms of the amount of the fee, the types of amenities that would go into a future park. Could not come to an agreement or a consensus or a compromise between those two groups. So in a future meeting, I will present to you what the original ordinance said, what the final offer from the Quality of Life or recommendation from the Quality of Life is, the final recommendation from the Subdivision Technical Advisory Committee is, and then ask council, what is your direction? What do you want to do from that point forward? I apologize that we were not able to accomplish a compromise, unified compromise between those two groups, and staff trying to negotiate that between the two groups. General election activities, as you know, City Council's election was canceled. At the November 18th meeting, we will have a reception for Councilman Sean Alzona for the service that he's provided to our community and for you as colleagues and for me as one of my bosses. And then we will allow Mr. Howard Hawk to take his oath of office, and he will be seated at that meeting. Number of other general election activities. This is Election Day, as was previously reported, and there are 17 state propositions. In Copper's Cove, there's also a bond election and a school board election occurring. And so it is 6:25. So those who are listening live, if you haven't voted, stop listening and go vote, please. City Council Strategic Planning Retreat, that is scheduled for November 14th. That is a Friday. We will begin at 9 a.m. We will be posting that agenda. It has one topic, strategic plan development. Tomorrow, I will be sending out council's homework for that and ask that you work on that and prepare that, send that back to Mrs. Wilson and I so that we can compile that information, be prepared for the discussion at that retreat. And then grant status, quite honestly, we are moving forward with a lot of grants, but there's not a lot of activity occurring with the federal government as the federal government shutdown is impacting a lot of the communication and discussion. And that is the very last thing I want to cover. I know it's not on my list, but it is very important that I talk about it. But the EDA grant, the EDC is so close to bidding out the roadway construction project that will be Mashburn Drive. OLDCC is moving forward and very specifically, that is the study of the railroad feasibility of a multi-use railroad, multimodal facility. Thank you. And then DSIP, and that report should be completed, I believe, at the end of this year, be very beginning of next calendar year. DSIP is the $10.3 million grant for the ramps on State Highway 9 to Tank Destroyer and Old Georgetown Road. It was awarded by TxDOT. The pre-construction meeting occurred earlier last week, and I haven't gotten a report on that yet, but we'll see how that's all going. But it was awarded at a 40% or is a 40% less than the budgeted amount. So it's pretty unique, and so I'm very hopeful that it comes in on the award amount. K-Tempo, not a lot of activity going on there. DAG is, I kind of already reported on that one. And then Railroad Crossing Elimination Grant, we have received responses for consultants. We'll be scoring those and bringing those to council for award in a near council meeting. So federal government shutdown, met with my team this morning to really kind of look at what are the impacts that are occurring within our areas. And there are some that we'll be working on. First, utilities. We'll be looking at some more flexible payment plans and trying to work with residents that have been impacted by the federal government shutdown. And that includes not just federal employees and contractors, but those that are receiving benefits, federal benefits, because some of those benefits have stopped completely. And so we'll be looking at that. If we need to take or recommend actions related to late fees and cutoffs, that will be something that I think City Council needs to take action on and provide action on what we need to do with late fees and or cutoffs. And so there is the potential for for me to work with the mayor and call a special council meeting if that is a necessity, okay? Child care, SNAP benefits, WIC, Section 8, which is housing, all of those are of great concern and knowing what's going to occur. I have spoken with Garrison Command on Fort Hood, some of their federal employees that are civilian employees or contractors, they're being impacted by this, and they're being required to report to work, and they're not getting a paycheck. And so they have, within Fort Hood, they are bringing together a gas pool of funding because some of their employees can't even pay for the gas to get to work, but they need to go to work, and they're required to go to work. Some of those employees are leaving employment with the federal government now. That creates a double problem because there's also a hiring freeze. Even after the federal government shutdown ends and the federal government resumes operations, the hiring freeze is still in effect. And so that's beginning to really impact the soldiers on post with services that have to be provided to those soldiers that live on post and those that are working on post as well. We have, going down my list real quick, we were wondering about Meals on Wheels, and Mr. Stoddard was able to obtain information that that program will continue because the funding comes in October, so that funding was already received, and Meals on Wheels program will be able to continue as well. So we're looking at the impacts to our residents and seeing how we need to work, as well as our team members, just like Fort Hood is trying to do. So recommendation and information received from Fort Hood when I spoke with them this afternoon is to communicate with our federally elected officials relating to the shutdown, and our Chamber of Commerce as well as our Economic Development Corporation was a member and participant of a letter that was regionally prepared and sent to our elected officials. I've shared that with City Council, so you'd be aware of the recommendation, the comments, the impacts that were written in that letter. I think well prepared. And so just know that we're thinking about it. We're trying to prepare for it. Really the biggest impact is really right on our doorstep. And if this shutdown continues, we will see some major problems, social problems in communities. There's already been reports, and there are people that have been shared, or social media posts that have been shared with me, that people that are no longer receiving some of those social benefits, federally social benefits, they're taking it upon themselves to get whatever they need by whatever means they can take, and that includes stealing. And so that is already occurring, at least around the nation. I don't know that it's really occurring in this region, but it's something that if we don't look at and at least recognize and try to prepare for our region, our residents specifically, we're going to see those issues. So I'd rather be prepared and find some way to work through that than have to deal with the aftermath, which nobody really wants to deal with and really doesn't want to have to go through either. So with that, Mayor, that concludes my report, and I'll take any questions or comments.
Council, you have any questions for Mr. Haverly?
I have a comment, Mr. Mayor.
Yes.
I did go throughout our community just to see how stocked we were in regards to our food banks that are here. It does appear for right now, everybody's pretty much okay, fully stocked. This is in the beginning, so I plan on taking another look at all the food banks, how they're doing, just to see as a community how everything is looking for our residents. Please be reminded that we do have the soup kitchen as well at Fairview Church, if that's also available. And for tomorrow, the Refuge Corporation, the mobile pantry, will be at Hetty Halstead for those who are inquiring about that. Just want to let you know that, just to mimic pretty much what Ryan was saying, this is a time for us to all come together as a community, as a neighbors, for friends, family. This is affecting also our community, and so let's just make sure we keep an extra ear out and just be there for those who need it. And also remember, with CCISD, free lunch, free breakfast for the kiddos as well. And so just as a reminder, thank you.
Anyone else?
Yes,
Yes.
I would like to say that on the 13th of November at the Holy Family Catholic Church, the Central Texas Food Bank will be doing a food distribution there at 10 o'clock in the morning. And Food for Families is coming up on the Friday before Thanksgiving, where all of the food that is collected in Coppers Cove stays in Coppers Cove. So if you have the ability to make a donation to Food for Families, whether it be monetary or food-wise, please do so and follow on KWTX because you'll get all the dates and times and locations for that.
Okay. Good work. Anyone else? All right. Next item, item J, items for future agendas.
Nothing from me, Mr. Mayor.
Okay,
Nothing for me, sir.
Nothing, Mr. Mayor.
okay.
I have nothing, sir.
Nothing, Mr. Mayor.
Nothing.
Nothing.
Okay. All right, there is no executive session for this evening. So the time is 6:35. We stand adjourned.